Hi everybody, welcome to the TAB Sport Rugby Update. First of all, we're going to have a look back at round 4, which kicked off once again in Nelson for the second week in a row with the Crusaders hosting the Brumbies, and didn't they give them a lesson? They absolutely wiped the floor with them. Some sparkling tries. We're going to have a look at a couple of them. Look at this first one with a fantastic breakout by Andy Ellis, offloading nicely to Sonny Bill Williams, doing what he does best, and Sean Maitland showing great presence of mind not to go to ground completely, sliding in on his knees, scoring the first of one of his 4 tries, can you believe? A new record for the Super Rugby. 4 tries in a game. Have a look at another one of his on the end of another good string of Canterbury Rugby off the second half kickoff, blazing down the field, and the Crusaders scoring another wonderful try. Almost a perfect 40 minutes, I thought, for them, and they look very ominous because they usually are slow starters to the season. Saturday night we travelled to Wellington and we watched the Hurricanes take on the Chiefs. Now this game promised a heap. I actually went along to the game in the grandstands and was looking forward to a pretty exciting atmosphere. It didn't really rise to the occasion, except when this happened. It was touch and go whether it was going to be a try to Tyson Keats. Half the crowd thought yes, half the crowd thought no, and it really was this try and another one to John Schwalger as well that got them over the line. So the Hurricanes squeaking out a nice win over the Chiefs, getting the punters home. Okay, let's have a look back at the big bets of the week, and I've got 3 doozies for you. The first one, and I've brought my black book in with me, it's white, but we call it the black book. The Rebels against the Sharks, 14,800 on the Sharks to beat the Rebels. That snuck home. That would have been nice for us to keep, but the punter got that one. That was paying $1.12. Next one was the Crusaders against the Brumbies. Well, this person didn't have to sweat, did they? That was at $1.08 on the Crusaders. They parted with $13,500. Very easy little collect, but 8% for an hour and a half investment. Not too shabby. And the Force against the Blues. Now, someone put $6,000 on the Blues at $1.33 during the game. They sort of got out of jail. They got half their return, so they lost a little bit. But we're going to see a long-range penalty kick by Stephen Brett that saved their bacon coming up shortly. So looking ahead to round 5 now, and we head to Hamilton on Friday night, where 2 teams I guess would be slightly disappointed with last week's performances, namely the Chiefs, because they didn't quite get going and came away with a loss in Wellington, and the Sharks, well, they just snuck home in a game that they should have probably won quite easily. They've got a very good defence, but that just got a little bit leaky in their last week's game. But man, when they string some passes together, get their attack on the front foot, they're very hard to beat. Lots of pace and lots of mobility in this Sharks side, and they are really going to test the Chiefs. I'm slightly leaning towards the Sharks just because, as they say, winning is a habit, and they've been winning quite a bit. So for me, the Sharks sneaking home in Hamilton. Next one, we'll look at the Highlanders against the Crusaders. Highlanders have been, well, they've been sort of the darlings of the New Zealand rugby scene over the last month or so, but I just got the feeling their bubble may have burst. They've got to come all the way back from Africa, and I think the trip back from Africa is harder than the one over there, and they meet the sizzling hot Crusaders team who have been in New Zealand the whole time. It is in Dunedin, so it is at Carisbrook. There'll be a good crowd. Highlanders have home advantage, but just too many guns for me in that Crusaders pack. The third one we're going to look at for me is the match of the round. That is the Blues hosting the Hurricanes up there in Eden Park. Now the Blues, they've been hot and cold. The Hurricanes, well, they just haven't been playing enough, but they have had a game under their belt now. But just look at the Blues last week. Who would have thought with 3.5 minutes to go and they're 10 points behind that they could get up and get a draw? I mean, they weren't going to win, but they could get the draw, and they did. This try by Kevin Mialamu, he is the best in the world at picking up from the back of a ruck, driving over, getting a try. Stevie Brett came off the bench, kicked that conversion, and then he lined up this penalty. 40 metres out, down the middle he goes, and shaking his head as if he couldn't quite believe that they'd got out of jail for a draw, or couldn't quite believe that maybe he got it, because he's been known to fold under pressure. I'm leaning towards the Hurricanes in this one, not because I'm from Wellington, but I just think the little bit more settled nature. Again, the travel by the Blues. They looked a little bit slippery last week. They've lost Ali Williams. The Canes get Ma'a Nonu back. I think it's going to be the Hurricanes by 3.